If you weren't sure how to calculate your first pension or how easy it might be, make sure you watch this video because today I'm going to be trying to break this down, keeping it as simple as possible. I think personally that calculating your first pension is a simple process. There's a few things that we need to know, a few steps that we need to do. But I think the very first step is really figuring out what are your retirement threshold dates, right? In order to first be eligible for retirement and for what this first pension will actually be, it'd be helpful to revisit what those retirement thresholds are. And so let's start with the normal, unreduced, immediate pension rules under FERS. That is retiring with your MRA with at least 30 years of service, or age 60 with 20 years of service, or age 62 with at least 5 years of service. Again, those are the normal retirement rules under FERS. You have another option as well of an MRA plus 10 retirement. This is where you can choose most likely a postponed retirement or deferred retirement, but most likely a postponed retirement where you put your benefits on a shelf and postpone when you turn your pension and health insurance on, either until 60 if you have at least 20 years of service, or you might have to postpone until 62 because you don't have quite 20 years of service, but you got at least 5. There's other retirement thresholds that you can meet as well. So I'm thinking about special provisions like law enforcement officer, air traffic controller, firefighter. Those are the 6C special provisions, or also discontinued service or early out or a VERA. That would be age 50 with at least 20 years of service, or any age with at least 25 years of service. Okay, so now we got those retirement thresholds out of the way. Now we can focus on how to calculate what that first pension will actually be. So this formula, it's a simple formula. You take your high 3 and then you multiply it by your years of service, years of credible service, and then you multiply it by whatever your multiplier is, expressed as a percentage. So what I plan to do in this video is break down each part of this calculation and talk about a few nuggets that might be helpful to know. So let's start with your high 3. Sounds straightforward. It's the average of the highest 3 consecutive years working in FERS, but technically it's actually the average of the highest 36 months in FERS. So we have to be mindful of pay raises or COLAs or step increases, that sort of thing, because that is, for example, if you got a step increase in January, that's not going to influence your pension if you decide to retire in February, that next month, right? Because it's only be 1 month out of the 35 that it would be that higher amount. So we're still looking at 36 consecutive months. It also doesn't have to be the last years of service, especially if you had a higher paying job with a higher locality, you work somewhere else, then maybe you moved and then you just decided to do some other type of work. It doesn't have to be the last 3 years. Speaking of your base pay, that's going to include your salary and locality, but it's not going to include things like bonuses or overtime. So it's really just going to be, again, your base pay plus locality. That's your high 3. Next, we want to talk about your years of service. So your years of service, your years of credible service, that would be just the time that you were working in FERS. This could include any bought back military time. And this would also include any unused sick leave time that gets added to your pension at the end when they're calculating what your years, months, and days of service would be. So that's how it works, is they'll add up the years, months, and days while working under FERS. They'll add up any bought back military time, years, months, and days, and then they'll add into that the years, months, and days of any unused sick leave time. So let's just use an example. Let's say you totaled your years and you had 30 years and let's say 3 months, and let's say you had 13 days of credible service. So how they're going to look at this is they're going to round down to the nearest month that you had. So even if you had, instead of 13 days, if you had 23 days, they're still going to round down to 30 years and 3 months. 30 years and 3 months in this example. So then you have to calculate what the 3 months would be. So you take 3 and then you divide it by 12. So this would be 30.25 would be your years of service, as we're calculating what this would actually be. Then we have to look at that percentage, right? What is that multiplier? For a lot of people, for most people under normal FERS rules, it's 1%. That's sort of the default. If you did decide to work until 62 and have at least 20 years of service, there's another 10% bump, bringing your multiplier from 1% to 1.1%, which is a nice little threshold for some when it makes sense to work at least until 62 if they've got that 20 years behind them to get a 10% increase in what their pension would be. For special provisions, their multiplier is going to look different as well. The first 20 years of special provisions would be calculated at 1.7%, and then every year after 20 years would be calculated at 1%. These are the different multipliers that are available. There also is a different multiplier, or rather a proration factor, for those who had part-time work. So if you look at the total hours that you worked and then divide that by the total hours of full-time that you could have worked throughout your career, if it's anything less than 1, then your proration factor would be less than 1, and therefore your percentage would then be influenced by that and be less than 1 as well. Right? So if you had some part-time work, you're not going to have a 1% multiplier because of that proration factor, because you worked less than the total number of hours that could have been worked full-time. So last thing I want to do is just give an example. For simplicity, let's just say your high 3 was $100,000. And I guess using the example above, let's say you had 30 years and 3 months, so 30.25, 100,000 times 30.25. And let's just say your multiplier was 1%. So multiply all this together. This would be an annual pension of $30,250 gross, right? And then divide that by 12 to find the month, that would be $2,520 a month that your gross pension would be. Simple enough, right? Biggest thing we want to be thinking about is gross versus net. We talk about this all the time, right? Gross versus net. It's not enough to know just what your first pension will be at the gross level. We have to think about those other deductions that most likely would apply. You know, if you're married and you're going to leave a survivor benefit, there's a deduction for that. For keeping health insurance, you're going to pay those health insurance premiums. That's a deduction for that. If you have life insurance premiums or long-term care premiums that'll come out of that, that's another deduction. Taxes is the big one too. So federal taxes, but maybe even state taxes if you live in a state that taxes your pension as well. So we really want to be focused on what that net benefit is. So in addition to your FERS calculation, we also should be talking about your FERS supplement, because that's additional income for some who qualify. So if you met your MRA with 30 or 60 with 20 and you retire sooner than 62, you're entitled to another benefit called your FERS supplement. Or maybe if you're special provisions and you, again, retiring younger than 62, you get an additional income source. And this is tied to Social Security because your FERS benefits are tied to Social Security. You're paying into Social Security while also paying into FERS, and it stops at 62. So how the FERS supplement is calculated is you take your age 62 Social Security benefit, and then you multiply this by your years of service, and then you divide that by 40. So let's just say, for example, your age 62 Social Security benefit, if you look at your estimate, was $2,000. And let's say, kind of using that example below, you had 30 years of service, and you divide that by 40. Your monthly FERS supplement would be $1,500 a month gross. That's a nice little bonus. That benefit would stop at 62. It goes away at 62. But that's additional income to sort of bridge the gap until when you can turn on your Social Security. Biggest thing with the FERS supplement, keep in mind, again, gross versus net. We want to have deductions coming out to pay for the taxes on that. But that's the big thing. And like I shared in the beginning of this video, your FERS pension and how to calculate it is fairly simple. There's a few details there that I wanted to cover today. Even your FERS supplement, I would say, is a fairly simple calculation. So hopefully this video is helpful. If you have questions related to it, though, feel free to leave your questions below in the comment section. And of course, until next time, happy planning.